Hello, can anybody hear me? Oh, shit.
Yes.
Yes. 1 second.
Can we cover something real quick for the recording?
It's already recording.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that Lucas, you've chosen to step down as the chair of the Open Source Committee.
Hello. Sorry, guys, I was FK. Yes, I can confirm. Do you want me to detail this, or I
No.
was planning to just share that asynchronously?
I was asked to have that listed on the recording here, so just getting that
Yeah.
confirmation here, and we do have Elaine who's stepping into that chair role. So
Yeah, that's fine. I'll detail that on the async thread about the stipends.
okay.
Likewise with what Adam Dean said. Thank you a ton for everything so far. And thank you in advance for any contributions you make as like a member for the rest of your term, a rank and file member.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Was there something else? Hold on. Was there something else in? Oh. Okay. Well, with that out of the way, I think we can get started. There's a fair bit of stuff to cover. So, like I've earlier during our meeting, Lucas and myself, and we trimmed down stuff. So this doesn't correspond exactly to the Miro board, but it's like a reduced subset so that we can get through everything fast enough. I'd also like to make a note of like I'm pretty tired today, so feel free to interrupt me if there's anything like I'm missing or anything. If anybody wants to raise something, so on and so forth. Okay. With that, I think we can begin, and I think we can start by talking about the maintainer evaluation process. Jonathan Kelly, do you think you could speak on the status of that? We can just take care of all the old business first.
Yeah, the status of the maintainer retainer program. We finalized questions for the application form. We had a meeting on Monday, which is listed in the subheadings there, with Jeff from IO to try and coordinate on the core repository leads input into the process and assessment of candidates. We're going to have a weekly stand-up meeting with Jeff and potentially others from IO to review things from now on. They may get involved in the interview process as well, but that is to be finalized. But yeah, the questions for the application are worked on and ready to go into an actual application flow. So that's good. And then the form will go out. I don't know the timeline for it going out, but it'll be after the developer advocate program finishes. It's the process. But yeah, so good communications have happened between existing repository leads to try and integrate maintainers into their existing workflows. And communications will continue there. On the other side, people in the community who are going to ask to be getting a stipend for maintaining repositories that are already useful, that are outside of core and don't have like contracted people working on them. That's something that's been surveyed, as you can see there. Christian might be able to speak more about that. Just sort of what level of external repositories, for want of a better term, have been are considered critical to Cardano's ecosystem. But yeah, anyone should be able to apply. It's just that we've been working out like what's actually utilized.
Okay.
Yeah, we're thinking about potentially using the same tooling working group criteria. That way it's same process for how we evaluate, and that doesn't differ much. But I am working with entity partners to get surveys out, as well as going to draft something up on Cardano forum, etc., just to get all kinds of medium for feedback.
Okay. Cool. So then I guess that answers what we're going to do about like selecting which projects are critical. Okay. Outcome of meeting on Monday. I think.
Yeah, briefly.
That's pretty much discussed then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, my screen is being.
Oh, the other thing to clarify too is we did have the change of scope from 50 projects down to 25, and change the term duration for maintainers from 6 months to 12 months. We did put out a feeler survey last week, and if sample size means anything, 80% are kind of in agreement. It was 40 some votes. We had 200 D reps approve us. So, I mean, I think majority wise, we're okay to make that determination of change.
Off the back of that, I'd like to say that having people in place for a 12-month period is probably going to be more effective than having to swap out people after a 6-month period. So I would agree with the flipping of the program to be a longer period of sustainability for the individuals that have been put in place. But other committee members will have to.
Yeah, I was going to suggest if we want to put that up to a quick vote, if everyone's okay, that we're going to make a decision to make that change officially.
A quick vote on like whether or not we're going to do the
switch from switch from 6 months 50 repositories to 12 months 25 repositories.
And that brings down 100 maintainers to 50 maintainers. It's the same cost, but because we're extending the program twice as long, we reduce the scope by half. That's the only change there.
Okay. So with respect to like that longer term, like what before we vote on that, like is there did you guys talk about like ongoing evaluation of maintainers, or if it's just going to be like if you get funding you're just going to get the whole way through?
Evaluation process is still the same. It's just well, we already have 10 to 12 core projects selected to support. So I say we just switch with that rather than increasing the core limit, and then use the other remainder towards community projects. So somewhere between 13 to 15, depending how the maintainer breakout comes in. But we're just essentially, for the sustainability and security of the projects, it makes more sense to do a 12-month duration versus a 6-month duration. And that's kind of the catalyst for the change.
Yeah. But I mean about
but they would still be being evaluated throughout the process. Yeah. You wouldn't just be setting and forgetting, because that would be potentially dangerous, right? If you put someone in and they haven't lived up to the scope of the program.
Okay.
Yeah, and they can be removed at any point for bad behavior.
Is there like do you guys have a document on that?
Let me get the poll that I did. real fast, just so you can copy it there.
Thank you.
38 votes.
Well, I don't think what Elaine is looking for is your poll results. What we're talking about is how are we going to evaluate whether or not these maintainers are doing work to deserve to continue receiving the stipend over time.
Gotcha.
And so I would
You
just
sure?
advocate that should probably be addressed in some sort of a percentage based, like a reaction to new issues or working to close out or tag existing issues. Versus you must do one PR a month or whatever, because that's more likely to get us shitty PRs than it is to actually have effective maintainers that are effectively maintaining repositories. So while we're thinking about that, definitely think about it in terms of percentage of workload addressed rather than just raw number of commits.
Okay.
I'd also consider looking at how long tickets are open. You know, it's one thing to have a handful of tickets open for a couple of days, but it's something else to have even one ticket that's been open for 3 months.
I linked the evaluation doc in the chat for you.
Oh,
Elaine.
so there's something started.
Yeah, we just need to update it.
Okay. Okay.
There
Well,
was a 30-day trial evaluation process for initial performance to begin with, which will be expanded further. Tex has his hand up. Sorry.
yes, Tex.
Yeah, just a quick note on structure. Let's use our hands. There's already been a lot of talking over each other. So let's just get a bit more formal that way so that we have some concise conversation. And I'm going to also apologize because I am jumping the agenda here, but
Yes.
we did invite an SME, a subject matter expert, as Christina, who had popped in the last conversation there. We can talk about this further in the AOB section, but Christina is with Blink Labs, also with Pragma, and so we've asked her to join the open source committee, as we've already done some work in the background with her, and we're just looking for that additional expertise to support some of the work that we're doing, and just some additional oversight. But we can cover more on that later.
Oh, cool. That's with respect to like the like unelected like rank stuff, just having someone come in like over a longer term?
Yes, like attending the OSC meetings we've invited her to attend. We again can push to the AOB section and if as need be, call for an official adoption of her as a SME on the agenda format, or it can just be listed as another attendee for the time being.
Yeah, cool. I think we can probably just bump up the like let's talk about that like immediately after the maintainer evaluation process, because I don't want to run out of time. You know, waste her time and stuff. Okay, cool. So ongoing evaluation of maintainers in progress. Yeah, so if we want to do the 12-month period instead of 6-month, we should vote on this like now, like keeping in mind what we just talked about with respect to the evaluation like program. Personally, I think it's fine. Probably better to have less people involved with it, because it might be hard to like fill such a big quantity of people. That is my thought on the matter. Anybody else? If anybody's speaking, you're on mute. I vote that Georg leverages Bitgeria to tell us if the maintainers are doing a good job or not.
Slightly tongue-in-cheek, but also useful.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to have down, but it might.
I actually wasn't joking. Like, we have the tools in our toolbox to like automate this. Like, so let's actually use them.
Apologies, I
Yes.
misinterpreted your emoji at the end.
Yeah, we have the tools where we can get the activity of the maintainers, and we can have a dashboard where we filter by what which the maintainer is that we want to evaluate, and then we get charts and graphs and numbers about their activity levels, and we can see are they consistently doing their work, are the issues that they open that stay open, are they responding to other people's issues, how long does it take to respond, etc., etc. So yes, thank you, Christian, for posting the dashboard. I know a couple of weeks ago we had shown some of the ideas that Tex and I had presented at ChaosCon to do this, and now it's time to put that into practice. Is there a particular format or something that would help us to formalize what we're doing so it's transparent also to the maintainers?
Oh, go ahead, Elaine.
Oh, I was going to say, would that fall under the? I think if there's, this isn't like an answer to the question, but like whatever we decide on that, we should probably, I think, include in the evaluation document. Go on, Adam Dean.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, just anything that really shows that they are like active in a given period would be helpful, and then how they spent that time in the past month or quarter or whatever, really just to make sure that they are doing a non-zero amount of contribution would be my biggest concern or thing. I mean, because I know that different repos are going to have more or less issues that need to be addressed and things like that. So, but go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, I'll put some thoughts together with Jurg and whoever else wants to join offline, and we can present it next week just to get sign off, quick 5-minute download. But we also need to evaluate what the maintainer's specific roles will be when they get in the project, because there may be some things that aren't necessarily easily tracked in GitHub, which is where we might need a more manual review, like community calls, stuff like that. But yeah.
Cool. So then, going back to the actual like vote on that, it seems like nobody has any objections to like changing the like lowering the quantity of maintainers, but like increasing like the duration. Then we can just call that.
Yeah, I can
for now.
easily do monthly reports on it too, because we already do the maturity reports. So it's just an easy add-on once a month or quarterly.
Oh, okay. Let me write down the Bitgeria repo maturity points. Oh, this is. Oh. Let me write this down. The maturity reports. Okay. Cool. Then let me go back to this and mark this as voted yes. Okay. So then I think we can move on from how to spend maintainer. Well, I don't know how to mark that yet because the title, I guess, is broad. But we can move on from the vote on that. And then the next thing that we wanted to cover about that was, how do I go up in this web application? Does anybody know how to go up a level?
I typically find it easiest to just close it out and go back to the, I mean, in the, it's.
Yeah, August.
Scroll up a little bit.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, cool. I'm actually gonna, well, never mind. Okay, So then the next thing we should talk about is with respect to having Christina on for like contributing to like the OSC and stuff. Christina, if you could introduce yourself, I think that would be good. I think we've met before. Oh, you're muted, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we probably have met. I've actually met a few people here. So Christina Gianelloni, I am COO of Blink Labs and head of the board of Pragma. I also am a host on Cardano Over Coffee, and I work with Catalyst. That's pretty much what I do here.
What was that last one?
What
Board member
I-
Pragma.
Board member.
Yeah. And then I work with Catalyst too.
Yes.
Cool. Prior to that, I had a 20-year history, like working in corporate America, doing IT management and mergers and acquisitions around the globe. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, I've also worked in open source. I was a developer with Gentoo, which is a distribution of Linux. I was part of the developer relations team there, part of PR. I went to some of the first FOSDEMs in Belgium, so it was pretty cool.
You were like a technical contributor on Gentoo.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Well, that's actually good timing that you came in, because we were yes, E and SME. That's really good timing that you came in, because we were previously talking about like the unelected, like an unelected member of the OSC ranked, so that people could contribute to the OSC. Personally, I would like to say that I would be very in favor of Christina like contributing and stuff. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? Especially someone.
If you want me
raised
not
something-
to be here for this, just tell me too.
Oh, what? Oh no, I think it's probably
Okay, cool.
fine. Yes. But yeah, thoughts on this, especially like somebody raised previously, like something about the organization and like structuring of that. Georg?
That was going to be my question about the structure of this, because we have the elected members of the OSC and we're not in an election cycle right now. So how would this relationship be in our existing structure?
Terrence?
Yeah, so I'll jump in here. What I would speak to is that this has actually been a missing part of the OSC pretty much for all of 2025. If you go back and look at the historical notes, it was very, very common for us to have many more than one SME. We worked a lot with Solona last year, and we've had a few others that were in and out of the committee here as well. So as far as the structure goes, we are eligible to onboard or have subject matter experts attending the committee, contributing to the committee realistically at any point in time, so long as there is agreement. And again, the main focus, I do apologize again, because I know this kind of comes at a left field from Open Source Office, but we are trying to curate and facilitate connections as best as possible. And as again, as we're moving forward and going into a ton of initiatives, I think that there is a lot of good knowledge in the room, but it doesn't necessarily hurt to have more. And so that's why we're bringing this to the table.
Yes, Christian?
Yeah, to make it simple, it's not like an elected seat, voting seat. They're on call consultation. They can contribute to work groups, stuff like that. And there are outside collaborators that join the calls, since we already have open public calls. So that's all it is. Informal person that we can rely on for input if we need it to make a decision.
Lucas?
Just want to add, we've been ideating this idea more, titling it as an OSC contributor. For example, we had Emmanuel, like you were saying, and I just want to point out that all the calls, or the main calls, are open, and therefore, or even if the person is not a graduated SME, we should be welcoming people to come over from community, from projects that are building, and so that was already a space for everyone. So the goal of the OSC contributor role would be even someone as the people that we've been interviewing for developer advocates or something like that to keep in the loop and not necessarily to be an SME here. Okay.
Oh, as in like that these two roles would conflict, like the unelected member and like an SME, that these should be separate.
I'm just saying an elected contributor doesn't need to be an SME.
Oh, yes. I am in agreement with that. That does not necessarily have to be the case. But I think an SME would be a very good person to have in this role. Yes, we are running low on time. I will write down that we will vote yes. We need to hash out the details of like how to like manage like access to like documents and stuff. But yes, I think we should get that going. Could the OSO people like work on like how to structure like the access to the documents and stuff? Christian?
Yeah, I'll get text. Me and him will work on that. I just wanted to bring us back to that official vote on the retainer change, so it's on the record. I know
Yes.
I think we jumped that. So.
Oh my goodness, what is happening?
Or is it possible to do the poll tool? I think text.
Text?
Yeah, I'll do the poll for both. And that way we can keep moving.
Okay,
Carry on.
thank you. All right, bug bounty program. Can people comment on the state of this?
Yes, we have the framework doc. Everyone's in agreement. We're working with delivery assurance to close out the first milestones on the contract with it. At least not milestones, but like the agreement for what the milestones are. We're going to do a manual process with GitHub and then get into GitHoney as demand comes into it. And I'm working on the public page for this, as well as the security MD files to pass on to the OSC for feedback. And then we publish it and basically sit until incidents come up. So pretty
Could you
straightforward.
repeat that? You repeat that last part?
Yep, framework done, working on milestones. We're doing GitHub native as well as manual process, then GitHoney in the future. I think we had an idea to help TX Pipe with that. I'll give it over to Arnaud for that, but I think he's absent since he's leading that conversation. And I gotta get the public information all together for the community so they understand what this process is. But Security Council is in line with the committee's wishes for this. So.
Okay, fantastic. Jonathan Kelly?
Yeah, just to say I'm involved in this and attending meetings as and when they come up. So I'll, as a committee member, I'll be present.
Okay. Cool. And I think that that's good. I think we can. Christian, if you could ping Arnaud on that.
Yeah, he's out today and tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we can move on to new business. And we will see how much of this we can. Oh, yes, Tex?
Sorry.
No.
I guess we're moving beyond that bug bounty piece. I may have missed something, but I didn't catch on completed conversation there. The last I heard was some expansion that we were doing in the work session last week. So again, I'll do my best to catch up on that, but I'm just trying to follow on exactly what the decision was there. which I don't think one has been officially made yet, but I was hearing some things. The other thing is the polls are up. So
What was that about the? Oh, sorry, John Kelly.
Yeah. The floated solution to how people would report bugs is using GitHub's native interface to do that, and then have once bugs are worked on, them being released publicly through the GitHub interface. And then the further work that's proposed is getting GitHoney expanded to having API support to GitHub's native bug reporting interface, so that whenever they get disclosed as worked on and completed, the people could pick up their involvement in reporting the bug or working on it. So the future work potential is using something like the tooling budget line to help GitHoney expand its feature set to support getting people paid for their contributions.
Okay.
But yes, this again will need to be decided by committee if this is the path to take.
Cool, thank you. Christian?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's 3 ways you could pay for that, which is the tooling sustainability. But the one I'd recommend is if this is associated with security stuff and it's within reason, we do have 7,000 on the Security Council for tooling. And if this is something they're wanting to use with the OSC, we could easily get that covered under that, depending on what the cost is for that API.
Tex?
yeah, I apologize. I'll just clarify. I was jumping ahead in the process of trying to understand how we would do payment structure, utilizing the standard GitHub process. So we'll still have to iron that part out, because the answer of how we do it is one thing. The answer of how we pay for rewards is another. So that was my main sticky point or identification. But thanks for the reminder of the conversation last week, Johnny.
Yeah, well, the GitHoney would be the method of distributing the funds, but yeah, the way it all works together is still to be worked out, right? Because it's being built, that integration. So yes, it's a future discussion.
Okay. Cool. Then I think we can move on that.
Sebastian has his
So
hand up.
yes.
Oh,
Hi, everybody.
sorry, I didn't see that. Go on.
No problem. Hi, everybody. Just a question. The budget is able to support some enhancements to GitHoney. We know that in this moment, GitHoney has a kind of limited features in related to what we need for the several programs we want to use it to. So in some way, the budget is able to support this kind of enhancements, or that must to be assumed by the TXPipe team.
It sounds like to me that we would be able to find budget for that from one of several places.
Yeah, the one. Sorry.
Because we are talking about API support, and GitHoney needs additional features to support several needs we have in this moment. So, I know that we have any other programs where we can get funds to support the further development of this tool, this Cardano tooling. So,
Christian?
Yeah, there's 7,000 associated with tooling specifically for incident monitoring and stuff. So this is an easy fit into that if the cost is low enough and it doesn't disrupt funding or us needing to justify a lot more with the other programs for a spend like that.
7,000 allocated. Sorry.
Incident monitoring and security. We're bringing in 1 full-time staff, and then there's 7K for tooling needed. So this could be a minor cost pulled out of that.
Cool. All right. Anybody else want to chime in on that before we move on to new business? Okay. Then we will proceed. Developer advocate selection. Yes, I wanted to talk about that. I guess we can start with. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So as it stands, going to keep this private for the moment since this is a recording. I'm not going to release any names as it stands, but the names that we have selected are the names so far, at least from the interviewer standpoint of who should be the developer advocates. So those 4 names have already been provided in the Accordant channel in Discord. If you need to, then please ignore that while you review the responses. If you would rather just take a look at those individuals and confirm that you agree, that's acceptable as well. We talked a little bit about this, so I'll give just a quick 30-second overview. I set up a scoring sheet. Everyone is more than welcome to go in there and place your own score, 1 through 5. Keep it simple. I did 1 through 5 with half points as well. So we can fill that in and look at a better array of averages, but that is not entirely required. If you purely prefer to just go and look at the star ratings without touching them, please, and see whether or not you agree based on the response or based on the recording if you choose to watch it. Essentially, the plan is to send out these selection and denial emails early next week. So the work session will focus on what those 2 emails look like later today, at least a portion of it. That's going to be the one thing that I got to cross off the list. We don't have another official meeting before selection occurs. So it's basically just not going to force everyone to decide right now. But yeah, go ahead.
Jonathan Kelly.
Yeah, so there's plenty of, as Tex is saying, there's plenty of resources available to review if you haven't already. As a committee member, Tex conducted every interview. I was in attendance at every interview and made notes about responses. But you can watch the video if you'd like to see the actual responses and make your own notes and your own assessments. But everything's in the Discord, links to the recordings and the note-taking that happened during the interview.
Yes. I wanted to ask, this is a stupid question, but I'm like super tired, so I can't really think through this right now. Can I just link the Google Sheets here? Or is that like...
As this is a public recording, it may not be a wise idea at this point.
Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. Also recordings on G Drive. Okay. Cool. And you mentioned that this is we're going to send out emails on Monday, right? Was it Monday?
Monday or Tuesday. I don't know exactly when the emails are going to get sent, but essentially by Monday, if there is conflict with any of the proposed selections at this point, any major conflict, I would say, please denote that accordingly. If there's major conflict and it leads to a discussion, then I will establish a meeting accordingly for us to discuss that. But if there's no conflict, we're going to continue to abide by lazy consensus, and those will be the selected advocates. So
yeah, I will give a little bit input on. Or I keep forgetting to raise my hand. I'm sorry. Yes, I will give a little bit of input on that. I have looked at minimum the like transcripts for all the candidates that were mentioned, and so far I'm in agreement with all that stuff. But I'm still reviewing some of the other candidates, and so before I give like a concrete like response on that, I need to do that. But that should be done by Monday, so I'll just update on that. Okay. Yes. We can move on. Actually, before I do that, yes, Sebastian?
Yes, in my case, thanks. In my case, I checked all the information of the participants. I'm agreeing. Those 4 have a pretty nice and pretty nice profile to work as developer advocates. My concern is about the geographic distribution, because as I commented in the past, it's important to cover several audiences where the blockchain movement is growing. We have evidence of that. I mentioned in the past Latin America, for example, the TX5 team is localized in South America specifically, and they are doing a great job bringing new depths to the ecosystem. So my only concern is about the distribution of the depths, the advocates around the globe. So
Tex?
yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, so one comment on distribution. Obviously, that's always going to be a consideration. However, the current selections, if there's concern that way, it comes down to technical ability, coachability, and coachability in terms of can we coach them to be effective leaders and fit the merits of the program. That shines out a bit more than how do they spread across the world. It's also important that the candidates currently selected also possess the ability to expand to those other locales, even if not physically. They seem to command a good virtual presence there. So it's something that we'd love to see in the future, but we can't specifically control who applies or who does not apply. We're open to, again, that distribution, but if we don't get it, we have to select the best candidates for the role, for the goals of the program. So.
Jonathan Kelly?
Yeah, I'll just quickly echo that. My rating system was based on their actual responses in interview and the merit that I felt they had based on the responses. So geographical consideration is to an extent important, but the quality of the candidate's performance during interview was priority for me.
Yeah, I will third that. To be a little explicit about it, I don't think that we currently have like that much room to be picky about geographic distribution with the like score distribution that we ended up getting. Doesn't feel to me that within the current set of candidates that we can necessarily accomplish that goal like super perfectly. Sebastian?
Yeah, I completely agree. But however, in this moment, we have, and to my surprise, I have one of the people that wants to be developer advocate is from Latin America. It's not because I'm from Latin America. It's because he has the expertise and he is working in several fronts in the developer side of Cardano. So I agree. Sometimes we don't have we can't control.
Echoing the Terrence comment.
We can control, but we have one of the persons that is working intensively in the developer side of Cardano in this region of Latin America. So we can make some considerations about it. And I know his expertise, technical expertise is super.
Text.
Yeah, I just a reminder here, Robert's rules, we had a minor issue with this last week as well. We need to avoid using names whenever possible, unless we are naming another specific member of the committee in conversation.
I didn't know it, but okay, that's good.
Yeah, actually, with respect to that also, can we get a call set up like to discuss that like off recording? That matter on like the developer advocates. Oh yes, Christian.
Yeah, I was going to suggest do 30 minutes, hash out candidates, crossover, and then put 4 recommendations together up for vote. Maybe 2 alternatives just to distribute it. But you do have the work session call later tonight if people can do that.
Is that the one that's? Oh, sorry. Hold on.
Super late. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can't do
I
that.
can move my schedule to do 30 minutes after this if that's amicable.
I can echo that. I can do 30 minutes after this also. Sebastian, will you be available in 30 minutes?
I can. I have a call after that. But in essential,
Okay.
that's my thinking about it.
Okay. Let's DM after this. Not DM. Let's message in the chat after this meeting about coordinating that. I think maybe like it's fine if I don't attend that. But we'll talk about that like after. Okay. Okay. New business. Developer advocate selection. Member polls for community sentiment. What is this about again? Does anybody know what this is about?
There are subheadings. Are there? No, they're not.
No, they're not. Let me.
Oh,
Did I
this-
maybe just forget to?
This is me. This is me.
Oh,
My
yes.
apologies. So we have the as part of the voting tool in the members area, we have the ability to conduct votes and put these out to any level or variation of the membership. So what I wanted to confirm was essentially the agreement of the committee to use that function or that tooling feature as the community sentiment for our decisions. So when it comes down to what bug do we prioritize, what feature do we prioritize, things of that nature, we have specific language in our budget proposal that says that we would gather community sentiment. I don't believe that social channels is going to be appropriate or easily trackable for us to write that down as a decision. So the suggestion is to use the tooling within Intersect's members area to do so. As far as access, there is an associate level access to Intersect, and the questions will be made available for that group. So there is no cost barrier to do this here, but there is the potential of also influencing Intersect membership, which is good from a cross committee or cross organizational perspective here as well.
Okay. Jonathan Kelly?
Just to clarify, so this would be leveraging the thing that's used already for things like the election process within the members-based area to do polling on specific issues.
Correct.
I am in favor.
Yes, I am also in favor. Anybody else?
I'm putting a poll right now.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
If you have not already, please make sure that you go and respond to the active polls.
Yes. Okay. If that passes, what do we want to do about like this for next steps? Are we just going to have this as like a decision and then we
It'll just become a part of each program build as required.
okay. If everyone votes, or if vote is yes, we will incorporate this into every program. That sounds good to me.
Okay, we
Okay.
have no participation in the polls here. We do need, please navigate down to, there should be a little triangle for you in the bottom right of the Google Meet. If you're on mobile, you should be able to click the three dots and click activities.
How do I?
It's now called Tools on mobile, and it'll be there under Tools.
Bogos is now Bingus. Accept, yes. Adam Dean?
I'm just going to go on record as saying I think it's a bad idea to use this resend now more pulling back to the Intersect membership. Like this committee already kind of struggles to make efficient decisions. I don't understand the purpose of having our budget programs now go back to more community voting, as if we're afraid to just take a stance and plow forward and lead the way like we were given the delegated authority to via the DREPs by proposing a budget and getting it passed.
Sorry, did somebody raise their hand?
Yeah, me.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
I wasn't taking it from the perspective of budgetary decisions. I was taking it from the perspective of community sentiment on anything we would like to poll on. But yeah, we do have delegated authority through the DREP voting system to make decisions on programs directly. I agree with that sentiment. But I also think that there are sometimes ad hoc polls that could be useful using this method, but we need to decide as and when that's proper.
Right. Just the poll says RE budget program. So I was wondering why we would be going back to
I didn't see that.
calling RE budget programs.
I didn't see that in the wording on the poll on Google. Sorry.
Jax? Also, what poll is that?
It's poll number 3. We can definitely go back and forth on this, and I'm not forcing anyone's hand. Definitely want to hear all of the opinions, but with our delegated authority, the line items specifically call out the community sentiment piece. That's part of how it was written, for us to be involving the community in the decisions. It's another effort of being openly transparent. At the end of the day, with the delegated authority, if the community chooses not to participate, which could be an outcome, yes, we still have to make a decision. And also with the delegated authority, we could essentially veto a decision if the technical feasibility states, yes, this needs to be done. So that it's not saying that it's just another way of us connecting with the community is really what that's going to be. I don't know that it's in our best interest to close that off.
Adam Dean?
Yeah, just to clarify, that is not transparency. Don't ever, and especially not on a publicly reported call, say that you're going to poll for community sentiment, but then just ignore the outcome of said polling if it doesn't go the way you want. It's much better just to tell them this is what we're doing and why we made that decision, and then they can choose to eject the committee if they don't like the direction we're going. But if we put anything up for a community sentiment poll, that suggests that we are agreeing to be bound by the outcome of said polling, especially if it's overwhelmingly in a direction that the committee doesn't want to go, which is why submitting everything for death by mob mentality is not actually a very efficient way to rule or govern an organization.
I'd like to raise something about that of like, I don't think, is it necessarily the case that like we have to have those polls be what we will do? Is it not appropriate to say that like we'd like information about how everyone is perceiving this, you know, like input, like, and sort of like have it be that like, yeah, if you don't, you know, we're reading this, you know, but ultimately like we're going to do something, and like if you don't like it, that is perfectly okay, and you can vote us down. Is that not like an acceptable matter, an acceptable way to do that? Christian?
I think it's use case by use case. Obviously, we should only use this for like 5% of something if we're unsure of how to proceed forward, and we need to be, like Adam says, bound by the outcome for it. Like the little thing I did with Twitter, that was to inform us, oh, hey, if we go this way and make this decision, we're going to have backlash. Intersect with the whole governance budget process is a big indicator about how not to do this. But how we did the proposal breakout and we committed to whatever the outcome was is a way to follow through with that. But I would advocate we use this seldomly, at least on the budget items. If we have bigger things like reward recognition program or inclusion programs, maybe we survey that way. But at least for the initial stuff, I would say use this very sparingly, just so we can get stuff done right now. Or if it's something that goes against what we had in the proposal originally, and we want community sentiment on that, I think that's a big enough topic to do that, like the scope change at the maintainer retainer. So,
Did somebody have their hand raised? Because it doesn't show me on my screen right now, but I feel like I heard the noise. No? Okay. Yeah. If I'm getting that right, like it sounds like that is like what Adam Dean was talking about, like that you agree with that, like Christian, about specifically like if we poll for it, like it is necessarily the case that like this is something we are bound to.
Quote unquote, you don't have to, but you can die very fast if you don't. Like, if it's not clearly spelled out exactly what your intention is to do with the information gathered. It's just a very cautious thing, and Intersect almost completely lost our lifeline to be supported over this kind of mismanagement. So the other thing too is if you look at the constitutional workshop, everyone hated the word temperature check. So I think doing temperature checks is something we should do sparingly, not consistently. Because every hour they were asking for a temperature check, and I think the room was just heated.
Oh,
Ironically heated.
so if I'm getting that right, like the issue there then is that like it can just bite us like in the butt like very easily, like that. There's kind of like an implicit
Yeah,
finding.
we basically asked for delegated authority to make decisions to get stuff done. That's why we have y'all as the elected representation to make these authoritative decisions. OSO's here to support you and step in as required. But if y'all feel the need that y'all can't make a decision and we go to poll and we're okay with following the outcome from that poll and the delay potentially to the process, I think we do that. Because it asks the membership and it reinforces membership base as well for this decision. But if it's going to be a community decision, I think we need to separate that distinction as well for how we poll. Because there's a difference in how we do this program, because Treasury money is supposed to support the community, not just Intersect Pro. So
Okay. So then if I'm getting like the outcome of the poll and the discussion correctly on this, is everybody in agreement that like this is something that we can add to the toolbox, but like before we actually do it, we need to talk more about it because it can bite us in the ass? But okay. Poll remove decision is null. Okay. To scope of polls danger. Okay. Cool. We are running very low on time. My bad, everyone, for not trimming this down a little bit more. I guess I should ask, like, who has to go, like, in like a minute? Is it everyone? Tex? Anybody else? Wait, before everybody like thumbs up, thumbs downs it, can we have thumbs up mean I have to, or like I'm okay to stay, and thumbs down mean I have to go, just to make that explicit? Okay to stay, Terrence, Georg. Okay, yes, 1 minute left, so let's see, project support services, managing number of threads. Yes, so, all right, I think we can just proceed to get this knocked out fast. Tex?
Yeah, as I do need to step out, just citing my comment there, the votes were unanimously in favor to adjust the maintainer retainer program, as well as accept Christina as a SME.
Thank you. All right, then I think the other thing that I wanted to, and sorry, I'll let Terrence and Georg go. But then I think the one thing that we do need to, these two things I'd like to cover quickly before the rest of everyone goes, if that's okay. So using ClickUp for managing budget line items. Yes, this was an idea that we had, to like streamline stuff and like get people like help people like actually know what they need to, like what they can do and stuff, and like start assigning tasks. I've talked to like some members of the committee, and it seems like that's something positive. Sorry, Tex.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was
No,
just
go.
going to put out, unless there's some other form of replacement, which would be probably a little bit harder to gather adoption on. This is more of an administrative, this is where the management of these programs and lines are going, for clarity. And as also, at least as myself, I'll make myself available to assist with familiarity and understanding how to use the platform accordingly. But if there's a question on what do I need to do for those that are task oriented, we have the ability and have already assigned various people to different tasks. So just more stating that it's an announcement of a direction, not necessarily a decision, unless there's widespread panic. So
Yes. Yeah, please give feedback on that if that does not work for you. But it is my impression that like this is something that people are generally positive about. So we will be proceeding forward with that. And then I think Christian, were you the one who said that like you want to like help out with managing the actual
project management side of me. Now that we get the budget, I'm gonna task and follow up people individually for things. I'm assuming everyone was okay with the Discord allocations based on lazy consensus. But if there's things, I'll try to make stuff as async as possible. But if I come knocking on the door, just know it's related to that mostly.
Yes. Okay, cool. So just putting that out there for everyone. Again, if there's any big problems, feel free to talk about it. Yes. The only other thing that I wanted to talk about that I do think is time dependent, like besides that, was the change calendar events so everyone can get recurring invites to events. We'll push back the full discussion of this the next time, but I did want to say, okay, I need everybody to take a look at this like Calendly link, because Calendly had discovered this issue with like Google Calendar now, where like people are just getting Google Calendar invites completely dropped. You need to go into settings and like make it so that like you can receive calendar invites from anyone, because I think members of the committee were having issues with this, that like some events are just getting like spam filtered. So I'll tag everyone on the Discord for that. Please do take a look at it, because I have had this issue before, and I have a feeling that it has probably affected everybody else. Oh, it's not even just a matter of like, the thing that I'm raising also is like, it's not even a matter of like if you're invited to it or not. Like I was just not getting some like invitations before, and I was not sure why. This is a recent change with Google Calendar. I don't know why. Tex?
sorry, I'll give more clarity. There is an open source committee calendar. I've ensured that all of the open source committee events are on there. And so each of you should have received an email with a specific invite to see the open source committee calendar. It's different than an event invite.
Oh, okay.
This is the resolve that was previously asked for that I said we already had in place. That's what I'm saying was resolved this morning. I ensured that the committee members did have access to this calendar. So simply pull up your Google Calendar. You should see open source committee calendar is something you can enable if it's not already there.
Jonathan Kelly?
I can confirm that I received this email, opened the calendar, and got a notification that I already had it. But if anybody doesn't, it will add it to your existing calendar as an option to turn on so you can see what's happening.
I have not seen this yet personally, but I will check that out. Please let me know. Please let the committee know if you don't get this, like if you don't get that like invitation. Okay, it's in an email. Oh, okay. I gotta look at that because I don't know. Okay. Then with that, good point, Adam Dean. Let's talk about the next meeting about like getting times potentially changed. Because I'm also having that issue. Other than that, I think bye Christian. But I think we can wrap up for today if there's no objections. Sorry about the rush on everything. I'm still trying to get the timing working out on everything. The stuff not covered will roll over. Yeah, sure. Let's discuss that async in Discord. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Sorry to keep you guys
Okay.
over.
Thanks, Elaine, for driving the meeting.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.